It's almost time for Gamescom. We now have a way better idea of what to expect. Other big games will be revealed soon as well. And you probably heard about the Bungie situation. I'll tell you everything you need to know and the big impact that it has on PlayStation. So a ton of gaming news to go over. Sit back and let's go. We still only have the gameplay reveal for Dragon Age the Veilguard, but that will change soon. During San Diego Comic-Con, it was announced that the release date would be shared in August. So very likely during the Gamescom opening night live show on Tuesday, August 20th, we now also learned that we will see the gameplay reveal for Civilization 7 at that show. Monster Hunter Wilds will be playable for the first time at Gamescom, so I'm totally expecting another look at Gamescom opening night live as well. And it has been confirmed that Crimson Desert, that totally stole the show last year, will be back and even playable at the Pearl Abyss booth. Yeah, that's huge. So totally expect coverage on that game, of course, here on the channel. We also learned what Ubisoft will be bringing to Gamescom: 100 demos to play a mission of Star Wars Outlaws. Now, the game will, of course, be out the week after Gamescom or a few days, depending on when you go to the show. But still, you can try it here for free if you are still on the fence. And Assassin's Creed Shadows will also be at the event. Not playable like some of the previous Assassin's Creed games. No, up to 400 visitors at a time can see a developer-led presentation of Assassin's Creed Shadows gameplay and get a live demonstration of the Yasuke and Naoe distinct playstyles. And that sounds a lot like the gameplay that I got to see at Summer Game Fest and could already show you a bit, as you see right here. So while I expect a new trailer for the game at Opening Night Live again on August 20th, hopefully it shows some new things. The Gamescom trailer for Mirage was fine. It only had one big reveal, namely the flamethrower enemy at the end. But yeah, Shadows is a way bigger game, and Ubisoft did a game overview trailer for Valhalla in July, highlighting many aspects of the game. That was the first time that we really got a good sense of what the game would offer. Feels like that could totally happen for Shadows as well, so hopefully we get that. I'll of course keep you posted here. I already mentioned it, but Xbox confirmed that they will have the biggest Gamescom booth ever, but their biggest first-party releases, Indiana Jones, Avowed, and the Starfield Shattered Space expansion, are getting a presentation instead of a hands-on session. And we, by the way, learned that Avowed got delayed to February 18th, which a better spot than the fall. Like, that's the reason why they delayed it. Also because Stalker 2 is now in November, so they already got quite a lot on Game Pass. Like, they will have Call of Duty Black Ops 6, of course, in October. They will have the Microsoft Flight Simulator, maybe Indiana Jones, although I can see that like also slip to early 2025, because again, it's not playable, and you would expect it at some point if they still want to launch it this year. So the Shattered Space expansion for Starfield seems to be real close though, although totally take this with a grain of salt, but it could be coming in September, which was noted by The Verge before as well. And then the next expansion, Starborn, is slated for 2025, as they want a yearly Starfield DLC. But yeah, something Starfield related at the Opening Night Live on August 20th also makes sense. Going back to Dragon Age though, EA now put the game in their Q3 sort of spot for their financial year, so that's a launch in October, November or December. But according to Jeff Grubb, of course a very reliable reporter, the game is targeting a late October window. It could still change, but BioWare seems confident, and also when I saw the game at Summer Game Fest, it was almost done, like they were just polishing it up. So I can see it happen as well. Also, of course, late October would be just before Assassin's Creed Shadows. Like, Shadows will be huge. You don't want to launch another RPG next to it. And we might see another big RPG revealed soon. Let's look at the dire situation at Bungie. And there's also something interesting about an upcoming PlayStation game. And not sure if this was supposed to happen. Of course, if you like the video so far, leave a like. That would really help me out. And subscribe, because we post one of these big gaming news roundup videos every Sunday. This coming week, the Borderlands movie is out. Maybe you're hearing about the Borderlands movie for the first time, or you're like, oh wow, it's really releasing. My gift to you. I will check it out on Wednesday. I don't have a lot of hope for it though, as the cast and the trailers seem more focused on appealing to the mainstream audience than doing the series any justice. I'm looking forward to the next game though, and we don't have to wait that long anymore. I'm confident that our fans are going to be very happy with the next video game project when we are ready to announce it. And I will tell you that we're not going to be making people wait for a long time before we announce it. And this according to Randy Pitchford, of course the Gearbox CEO. I don't think Gamescom makes sense, but a big reveal with a summer 2025 date at the Game Awards is totally something I could see. And we, by the way, now also learned that Tiny Tina's Wonderlands was bigger than the first Borderlands for Gearbox, so it's reasonable for our fans to expect more there. So a sequel during this console generation is totally going to happen, but they have to step it up. Like, it has to be more than just a Borderlands reskin, really make it more of this medieval Borderlands style game. I will keep you posted on these future Borderlands reveals, but yeah, Borderlands 4 in 2025, I think it's a given. Another big game in 2025 will be Marvel 1943 Rise of Hydra, and this week it was announced that while Skydance Games, under the leadership of Uncharted creator Amy Hennig, is developing the game, they are now partnering with PlayOn to publish it. We still don't know a lot about this Unreal Engine 5 game that, yes, looks stunning. It's about a young Steve Rogers and Black Panther in Paris. First they're fighting each other, but they will likely join forces later on. We still need to learn, like, about the price. How much is this gonna cost? What is the length? What is the actual gameplay? Or will it just be cool looking cutscenes? I really hope this sticks the landing, and when we learn more, I will of course keep you posted. Okay, before we touch on the big Bungie PlayStation news, let's quickly look at this video from the Minister of Digital, who went to the PlayStation studios in Malaysia. So he made a video about it, but probably showed a bit more than he was supposed to, especially when looking at this concept art on a computer of characters in a kinda desert fantasy setting, but also this really cool image of the giant flying hat going towards probably the playable main character, you would think, who's protecting a lady in the back. So this seems to be on ArtStation, so I'm not sure if this was just an inspiration. It does look awesome. But yeah, the like sort of thing we see on the other computer with like the character and a sort of environment, this could totally be for Bluepoint's new IP. Because we also had this concept art appear online as posted on Twitter. Like, this seems to be for their new IP. So we're getting a new action adventure from the looks of it. IP from Bluepoint, sign me up. They've been working on it for over 3 years now. Would be cool to see it during an upcoming PlayStation show. I'm still holding my fingers crossed for a September PlayStation showcase. Another game we might see at that event is Marathon from Bungie, which is going to be an important moment for them because a lot is riding on this. Maybe you already saw it, but Bungie laid off 220 employees and is moving others to PlayStation. Yes, this next to the 100 employees they laid off in October last year. Even with the high reviews and overall praise for the Final Shape Destiny 2 expansion, this could not save them. Seems like the DLC also sold less than Lightfall from last year, while that DLC was way worse. But that could totally be the reason why people did not give the Final Shape the time of day. But this whole story is way bigger than Destiny. Sony of course bought the studio back in 2022 for $3.7 billion and was promised a way better revenue than Bungie actually achieved. Bungie remained independent, but in January we learned that Sony could take full control of Bungie if they continue to fail to meet their financial targets. And well, that's happening right now. Jeff Grubb, who again is very reliable, posted that what will basically happen is that Bungie will lose its autonomy and will become like any other PlayStation worldwide studio under SIE and Herman Hulst. Which is crazy because Sony bought Bungie in the first place to learn from them, and now they have to come in to save Bungie. Now, to be fair though, Bungie seemingly did save Naughty Dog. According to Jason Schreier, Bungie gave Naughty Dog feedback that Naughty Dog found extremely helpful when making what was likely a very smart decision to not go all in on a service game. Like, that is why The Last of Us Online was cancelled, because Bungie came in and was like, this is not realistic. They seemingly needed to hear that from a team with live service experience. Otherwise, they would have not realized that it would be stupid for them to leave single player games behind to only focus on a Last of Us multiplayer game. I think it's wild that it even crossed their mind to stop making single player games and focus solely on a live service title. So thank God that Bungie came in, I guess. Okay, but what's happening now? Well, next to the layoffs, and I hope that all these people land on their feet, like it's once again a major failure from the leadership, who noted in a blog post that we were overly ambitious, our financial safety margins were subsequently exceeded, and we began running running in the red. Sounds like something the leadership did, like not the developers making the highly praised Final Shape expansion. But yeah, of course, leadership remains in their position. The layoffs could have been worse if they did not integrate 155 of our roles, roughly 12% into SIE over the next few quarters. So these people that worked at Bungie are going to work for PlayStation now. And this one is interesting. They're going to spin out one of the incubation projects, an action game set in a brand new science fantasy universe, to form a new studio within PlayStation Studios to continue its promising development. Okay, like Bungie was working on many like smaller projects next to Destiny and Marathon, and yeah, we might see a new IP for PlayStation 5 at some point. Although only 40 people were working on this, so it's likely still far away. As for Bungie, we will have over 850 team members building Destiny and Marathon, and we will continue to build amazing experiences that exceed our players' expectations. That's still a lot of people for one studio, but we heard that Destiny will be going for a way smaller post-launch model with only 2 smaller DLCs, they call them content packs, and not 4, but 2 seasons per year. There's also no Destiny 3 planned, so this just means that the game is going to have a short but painful death, right? Like, why would people stick around if you know there's nothing big happening in the future? So basically, a lot is riding on Marathon to be Bungie's savior, and that for a PvP extraction shooter in a very hard market is going to be tough. So yeah, let me know your take in the comments down below. The bottom line is that Sony bought a studio that was far past their peak, unless Marathon is like this groundbreaking title, which it can be. It will again be hard though. Like, if not, then the future is looking bleak for the studio, and I don't see how Sony will get their 3.7 billion back, and that is even without the cost of running this team after they have bought it. They lost a ton on this deal, even if Marathon goes on to make like a few $1 billion. Like, it's crazy. So again, this coming week, I will sacrifice myself and go to the Borderlands movie. I hope it's better than I'm like shouting out right now. We will see. I will let you know maybe next week or on social media. And I'm gonna keep the rest kind of a surprise. We have some cool content coming your way this week. And of course, a gaming news round of videos like this at the end of the week. So subscribe to not miss it. A like would really help me out. And check out my video on Phantom Blade Zero. I played the game and yeah, you can watch my impressions here. It's very good. I will speak to you soon. Goodbye.